And welcome to this Saturday morning, just 2 days before Christmas 2023. Spending my very first Christmas here at the Tai Muang, I think I've got to say it, beach. We'll just call it Turtle Beach because it's very difficult to say Tai Muang correctly, so I won't bother. And it's really good to have all the people that are here already online. Let's see if we can get over 500 people online at the same time. Really good to have all the people that are here already online. And I'm talking. So, things to get ready. Now, we do have quite a lot to talk about today, including the fact that Asian flights are the busiest flights in the world for 2023. I was quite amazed. Also, an incredible surge of EV sales here in Thailand over the past quarter. So the numbers were a bit staggering. I was questioning them in my head, but we'll be interested to hear what you have to say about that. Also, a proposal to tax cars in Bangkok. I mean, Bangkok's just had bad traffic ever since anybody can ever remember. Anything they tend to do only sort of really catches up the problems over the past decade, and the next set of problems start. So taxing cars from going into city areas is not a new idea, and we'll go into the proposal, which once it was aired, wasn't apparently very popular, and then was quickly retracted, as is the way here in Thailand. Now, it's not complete, a program without my pointer for the iPad. I thought I'd just give you a quick look at what's happening around the town at the moment. Now, we've had our local fair in Turtle Beach over the past, nearly 10 days. Tonight is the last night. So if I showed you what it looks like at night, it looks like any Thai market anywhere in Thailand. But during the day, it doesn't look quite as glamorous. But let's go to the video and have a little bit of a look at, this is, I suppose, the main forecourt, the Tiananmen Square of Turtle Beach, and there's some of the tents there, and the big sound stage where performers have been each night. As we walk towards the beach, and there's the sign that welcomes anybody that comes to the beach at any time, and very flat and calm on the sea today. I think we've got some nor'easterly winds which will build up during the day. I think they're going to be quite strong today, up to about 20 kilometres an hour. And the beach, nobody on the beach, but plenty of people on that particular beach during the evenings, and they're doing pretty well to... Oh, there's a bit of rubbish there, but they're doing well to keep it clean, and they are keeping the area very clean during this time. Now, if you look back in the opposite direction, this is looking back towards the road, and they've covered up about 200 metres of the road with a huge marquee, and inside there they've got all the stalls. Not particularly sure why they feel they really need to close down the whole road. Well, they don't close the road. It's actually open, as you can see. And during the daytime, cars and motorbikes still whip up and down this particular stretch. At night time, this is buzzing with people, and the cars and the bikes are blocked from coming along. But you can see, 200 metres of huge marquee covering this main road along Turtle Beach. So you've got to take some back roads at this time of the year so you can get around from one side to the other. And then heading south. From there, we've still got plenty of stalls there on the right, including this huge furniture store, which has got great big heavy bits of timber furniture, which sort of seems to hark back to the 1980s Thailand, as we head back towards the south and the southern end of the main Turtle Beach Road. So there you go, a bit of a snapshot from Turtle Beach this morning. And a few of us will be happy to see the back of this market, because the big problem has been power. Now, I don't really know where they've grabbed all this additional power, but just about on a daily basis, I have to say, cross the fingers, we haven't had it today. There's been power surges almost every day. Power surges and dips and brownouts, as we call them, enough to switch off things like the TVs, the lights flickering, the internet goes off. So it has been causing quite a few problems. Anyway, that's the situation here. Let's say hello to some of the people we've got. Hans, who else we got? Scott, Dam, I'll get to your comments and questions, including yours, Richard. Daryl, Scott's got a bit of a problem he's had. We'll pass that on. We've got Papa Jean. We've got Mango Sticky Rice. And interesting comment there. Just wondering, Thais always have nicknames. What would your nickname be if you could choose one? Maybe Sir? My Lord? My real name, I suppose, is Timothy. But Tim, I don't know. People used to call me Timbo. What was my other nickname? Newt? Bit pathetic, really. Timbo, what else? I haven't really had many nicknames. If I had to choose a nickname, I don't really know. I have to have a think about that. But thank you, Mango Sticky Rice. I miss the warm country. Been in Melbourne 20 years ago, says Papa Jean. We've got Luke Manson, Shano Traveller, Thug Life, Eurovision Chris. What's Eurovision Chris say? Hello from Kopangan. It's nice to finally be in a time zone where I can tune in live. Lovely day here. A bit windy. Yes, it is a bit windy, and we'll get on to somebody asking about the weather maps and things, so I'll have a talk about that. Seems like some very weird weather going around Thailand at the minute. Not really sure. This time of the year, we usually get these fresh nor'easterly winds. And if you are on that, what would you call it, the west side of the Gulf of Thailand, this is pretty much your sort of wet season. So you're going to get places like Koh Samui, Koh Phangan, Koh Tao, Chumpon, Nakhon Si Thammarat. You're going to get some rain this time of the year. Ahoy, mateys, says Guzzy Jack. We've got Arnold Ziffel, Moses Braun, Antoine. So, look, I'll get to all your comments later. And some questions as well. We've also got people who have sent in some questions and comments. Some of them related to Christmas. And they are in the computer. I'll tend to those in just a moment. But we might just go through some of the main stories that have sort of popped out over the past 20 hours. And thank you very much for those super chats. I will get to those soon. I'm very appreciative for your support, and I'll do my very, very best to make sure I can keep on providing you with some good information. I'm not quite in the middle of the camera. That's going to drive people that are into symmetry crazy. By the way, behind me, I've got bits and pieces. We're getting this particular property ready to start renting from January the 8th. And so it's a bit of a storeroom as we're slowly sort of adding new furniture, doing the decorations, hanging up paintings, and oh my goodness, we've got stuff all over the place. So it does look a bit like a dog's breakfast, and I apologise for that. So this from the Bangkok Post. Surya apologises for petrol tax remark. This is the Transport Minister for Thailand. And he's clarified yesterday a proposal to raise the excise tax on petrol in Greater Bangkok to encourage motorists to shift towards public transport. It was just an idea, saying he had no plan to implement it. I'm sure he was running it up the flag to see what people thought. He apologised for the miscommunication and went on to say that the proposal was in fact an example he picked up from other countries. Well, I know Singapore does it very successfully. He insisted there was no plan to implement it, which is code for he plans to implement it. And the minister said that reducing the cost of living was the ministry's priority, and its plan to cap the fares of electric trains at 20 baht per trip would take effect within 2 years without tax hikes on petrol. So that means you can get on the BTS, and even if you go from one end of the Salom line to the other, which is, about 20 stations or so, only 20 baht per trip, they're saying. And on Wednesday, Mr. Surya said an increase of 0.5 baht per litre of petrol would motivate car drivers to use electric trains, and the money would be used to subsidise the electric train system. Okay, so they're saying they're going to be using this tax to subsidise this 20 baht per trip charge for electric trains, which basically means the BTS and the MRT. the Sky Train, in other words. Yeah, I don't know. And how are they going to police it? 20. So this is petrol within Greater Bangkok. You're only charging at those petrol stations, so people are going to go outside Greater Bangkok to fill their cars. I think the only way to really do it is to have one of those the toll gates and the things on your windscreen, so when you drive through it goes ping and you get taxed a solid hard tax when you drive into particular areas of Bangkok. I think that might be a good idea to get rid of some of the cars. Maybe taxis could be exempt, because the public transport system is very good. They would have to increase the frequency of trains. But all in all, I think it would be a good idea. The tax income would be used to set up a fund to cover the losses which may be incurred by concession holders if the fares are capped to 20 baht per trip. Bet my bottom dollar you're going to hear more about this early next year, as the government's trawling around for funds both for its digital wallet and this proposal for 20 baht flat fares for the BTS and the MRT. To another story, this one from Bangkok Post. Aniton mulls 4 a.m. closing elsewhere, and the Interior Minister, our very favourite minister, Aniton Shah-Vidakun, will soon ask the Cabinet to approve extending the opening time for pubs and bars located outside designated zones to 4 a.m. Now, from December the 15th, it was applied to places in Phuket, Chiang Mai, Chonburi, which means Pattaya, Bangkok and Suratani, but only in Koh Samui, as part of a government policy to spur the economy. And the policy change also applies to hotels nationwide. So if you've got a hotel, you think, I've got to keep the bar open until 4 now. Well, you don't have to, but you can legally at least do so. And a United Thai Nation Party List MP also proposed the ministry extend the opening hours of nighttime entertainment venues to 4 a.m. in Hat Yai district of Songkhla in a bid to attract more Malaysian tourists. Of course, those Malaysian tourists down there near the border, they love popping across into Thailand for perhaps a little bit of additional drinking, certainly up to times past midnight, and also a little bit of occasional horizontal recreation, which is much harder to find apparently in places like northern Malaysia. So interesting that he was getting his knickers in a knot and saying, we want it in Hat Yai. For now, we need to, this is back to Aniton, he said, we need to monitor how the situation is managed in designated zones first. If everyone abides by the law, I'm ready to propose the matter to the Cabinet for consideration soon. And this is interesting. Research by the Phuket Ratchapat University, anyway, different surveys, they all agreed that tourist spending peaks around midnight to 3 a.m. That can't possibly be true. Sure, there are people out past midnight until 3 a.m., but I would have thought the majority of tourists would be out spending money on boat trips, going to shopping centres, going down to the beach and buying a massage or a couple of drinks. A peak spending after midnight to 3 a.m. must be a very select. Maybe it's people who like going out drinking spend most of their money between midnight and 3 a.m. Found that a very interesting and perhaps not quite in context statistic. So I'd be very interested to know what you think about that statistic. So let's just catch up with some of the other comments here. And I will acknowledge these super chats because people are very, very kind, and I'm ever so grateful for their support. So thank you to David Clark in Australia. David Clark, I used to go to school with a David Clark. Are you about 64 years old, David? Anyway, David, thank you very, very much for your kind support. Also, Brendan Pommels, thank you. I think you're in the US, Brendan. Keep up the great work. I'm moving from Miami Beach, there we go, to Samui in 3 weeks. Always enjoy your daily updates and we never miss an episode. Thank you very much, Brendan. I appreciate your support and hopefully you'll enjoy your time in Samui. Now, Miami Beach, Samui, both got beaches. I think you'll find the beaches in Samui a little bit nicer from what I remember of Miami Beach. Well, that was back in the 1980s. Maybe it's changed in the last 40 years. Probably has. But yeah, I'm sure you'll enjoy your time in Samui. I'm sure it'll be a lot quieter. And also John in Melbourne. John's in Melbourne. Thank you very much for your support. Merry Christmas, Tim. Thank you for the daily news service. Best wishes. Look, we could fill up the comments section with everybody going Merry Christmas to everybody. So let's assume that you have sent your best wishes. We don't really want to fill it up because it'll just make it harder for me to find comments. And I will, at the end of the program, extend my best wishes for the holiday season to you. No matter what you like celebrating, no matter if you're Christian or otherwise, it is a time of good cheer that's celebrated in the West. And I'm not a Christian, but I do enjoy celebrating Christmas every year. I've got 6 people coming around for dinner. That'll be 6 Big Macs. 1, 2, 3. If I get a small pack of chicken McNuggets, I think you get 6 of those in a pack. So I could get 1 pack and each person could have a McNugget as well. I think that'll work well. And also Eileen Morris Duke. Oh, Eileen, thank you. Beyond generous and unexpected and unsolicited. Eileen, thank you very, very much for your kind support. If there's any questions you need answered, I'll answer all of them. Standing on my head with my underpants on. Hello from Concan, says Gern Blanston. Blanston. It's 19 degrees. I don't do anything below 20 degrees these days. I'm talking Celsius, by the way, if you're in the United States. Konkan, up there in the northeast. So the northeast and the north of Thailand does have some cool weather this time of the year. A lot of Thais rush up into the mountains above Chiang Mai, and there's a bit of frost on the ground where it actually gets below 0 on a few mornings, and people love to celebrate that. Down here in the south, we never get anything below 20 degrees. The mornings at the moment are quite fresh and cool, but when I say cool, it's around about 20 degrees, and it never gets cooler than that at this area. Thug Life says, the studio's looking good, Tim. Oh, this is just the living room of, it's called, what is it called? A Coral Cottage. That's its name on Airbnb and bookings.com, and it will be available for bookings from the 8th of January. I think I've got a booking for about a week or so already. I think I've got 4 or 5 bookings for Coral Cottage, so I better keep on working on the theming and the painting to get it ready. Morning from far north, Mare Chan from Chris Roberts. Watch It Buster says there's no Turtle Beach on Google, just Turtle Village. No, Turtle Beach is a nickname that it's been given a few times, more recently by Steve Ross, but apparently it's been given the same Turtle Beach nickname in the past. But no, officially it's the Tai Muang Beach. Spelt M-U-E-A-N-G, Muang, Tai Muang Beach, if you're looking for it on Google. And it's about a 20-minute, easy drive, 20-minute drive from the north of Phuket. But it's a world away. It's like a 50. When you arrive in Tai Muang, it's like you've travelled back 50 years into Thailand. It's nothing like Phuket whatsoever. Good morning, says David Lawton. Trevor Cunningham says, Trevor from Christchurch, very nice part of the world, and would be warming up there this time of the year. Also like to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Cool shirt, says Thug Life. Oh, God, I've got to do something about telling you where I get these shirts, but I've forgotten. I'll get to that one day. Hans says, how about video of a baked Steve Ross walking around the fair? A baked? You mean naked, perhaps? I don't know what you're talking about. No, I haven't seen. I saw Steve yesterday. He's fine. We're recording Grumpy Old Men today. I have no idea what we're going to be talking about. We never know until we turn the microphone on. What are we going to talk about, Steve? I don't know. But we seem to fill up the hour. Jay Paul, Tim, don't you have a Christmas shirt? That Picasso shirt is not in the spirit. I do have a Christmas shirt. I'd have to go and spend 5 minutes digging it up. What is going to be bedroom number 2 with a king-size bed is currently the storeroom, and it's impossible to find anything, let alone my Christmas shirt. What else have we got? Can you tell me if a non-Thai can own and race a racehorse in Thailand? I wasn't expecting that question, Peter. I don't know. I'm sort of figuring no. They'd have to have a Thai person owning it, and then you would have shares in the horse, or you'd have some contract by which you take the winnings or something. I don't know. I don't think you could do it under your own name, Peter, but I'm just guessing. Happy for anybody else to chime in on that one if you have some answers for Peter. You might need a UPS to deal with the power issue. You're right, KJ. But it is really, the power here has generally been extremely reliable. We've had one blackout in 3 months. I think it lasted about an hour. Otherwise, it's just been during this fair that we've had these, not so much surges, but dips, which I'd call brownouts rather than blackouts. Hi, Tim from Nakhon Sawan and Melbourne. Have a wonderful weekend and a Merry Christmas. That's from Barono Faz. And hello from Ottawa in Canada, says a rock trip on this. From an old boy to another. Oh my God, David Clark. David, from an old boy to another, could bottom tenete. Indeed. Hold fast to all that is good. Exponential grammar. His father was, in fact, the head monster. David, could you send me an email? I'd love to catch up and have a longer chat with you, see what you're doing in your life. Tim Newton today. Tim Newton today at gmail.com. That's the email for anybody. But David, I'd love to catch up with you if you had an opportunity to send me an email, or you might not want to. That's fine too. But there you go. Fancy me picking up on that. Alan James, morning Tim. Cool weather arrived late this year and very cold in Pak Tong Chai. Han says, so there's not power in Turtle Beach or on a street fair. Maybe getting an electric car is not a great idea. There's plenty of power, and it's not a lack of power. It's just, I think, the way they've connected it. I think there's just a bit of a pair of pliers and twiddling a few bits of wire together. I don't think I haven't seen any diesel generators down there running the power. So I think it's just the way it's all been connected, which I don't necessarily think is kosher. Did you or Steve pick up that table for me, says Thomas Pickering. I can't speak for Steve, but you're talking about these enormous tables. They're about, they'd have to weigh a ton or a ton. One of them was about 6 or 7 meters long. It was, I'm not joking, that thick. It was about 30 centimeters a foot thick of solid timber, and about 1.2 metres wide. No, haven't picked it up for you. I'd hate to think what you'd actually be charged for. I must drop past and ask the gentleman. Now, let's very quickly go into some questions which came in prior to the program, which I'll get to, and I'll get to some more live comments. Very appreciative of all the people that are online at the moment. And we'll talk about anything you want. So if you want to bring up a question or a comment, write in capitals, question or comment in caps, and then it's a lot easier for me to find. Let's go to these. One person asked, I'll get to that in a sec. So press that button, Tim. Here we go. These are the comments that came in. And question, how do you feel about the new airport being built 15 minutes away, and do you get much noise from the existing airport where you are now? So they're going to build an airport about 15 minutes away from here in the sort of the flatlands behind Koh Loi, which is just about 15 minutes drive from the north of Phuket. It's going to be called the Andaman Airport and cost about 70 billion baht. That's what they're quoted. They didn't ask me to quote on it. So I haven't given them my price. we don't get any traffic over here going to the Phuket airport. We're not really anywhere near the flight path. I mean, occasionally I might see once every month I might see a plane fly over the top, but that's about it. So what can I say? How do you feel about it? Well, yeah, I think it's going to be good. I don't think it'll really cause much noise here in Taiwan because we're about 15 minutes, so they'd still be, several thousand feet up in the sky. But let's see what happens. There's a lot of work that needs to be done between now and actually opening the airport. Hi Tim, I watch every day. The updates are about the world. Thanks for your work. I want to talk about Christmas. I remember the first time I was in Thailand about 25 years ago. I see only some Christmas trees in some hotels in Bangkok. I'm so sad because Thailand is not the same anymore. I remember about 25 years ago the foreigners who visit Asian country because they wanted to escape the trouble about Christmas. It's a shame because Buddhist country have nothing to do with Christmas. Oh, look, I get what you're saying, Moses Braun, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. You're saying Thailand's changed over the 25 years. Everywhere's changed over the 25 years. Heaven forbid, even I've changed over the last 25 years. So, what can I say? It doesn't really bother me the fact that Thais have embraced the commercial side of Christmas. If you go down Sukhumvit Road past the shopping centres, they go out of their way to outdo themselves with decorations and Christmas trees and sales. And Thais have certainly embraced that commercial side of Christmas. It doesn't particularly bother me because they like celebrating just about anything, anytime during the year. If there's something to celebrate, things like Halloween, not so much Thanksgiving, but they love celebrating Halloween, something that I've never celebrated before back in Australia. So thanks for your comment, but it doesn't particularly bother me. What are you planning for Christmas? Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for your daily newscast. P.S. I watch a lovely American lady on YouTube who's married to a Thai man with 3 children. She has to report to the government office often. Okay, thank you very much. What am I doing for Christmas? Having 6 people. We're going to be out the back. I've had a caterer. But we've got turkey, roast potatoes, vegetables, plum pudding, brandy custard. I don't think there's much brandy in it. Ice cream, mince pies, and there'll be some cheese and biscuits, and I'm sure everybody will have a fine old time. Well, I hope they do. And it looks like the weather's going to be spectacular. So it's a Christmas dinner in the evening. And then we blocked out the beach house next door on those dates so that the guests can stay there overnight if they've had a few too many drinks, which I imagine a few will. Hi, Tim. Back in August, I visited the Tsunami Victim Cemetery in Khao Lak. A 2019 Reuters article stated that 340 victims have still yet to be identified. I don't have any information on that number. If it's changed 4 years later, look, I don't have any information about that. I'll see if I can dig up some more information to see if they have been able to identify some more of the victims, but I think that number really wouldn't have changed in recent years. Tim, has your leg recovered from the dog attack? Are you back on the push bike? Yes, fully recovered. So I had to have 4 rabies shots and 1, 2, 3. I've had 2 tetanus shots and I have to have another one in March. So yes, I recovered from the dog attack. When it was a dog bite, it happened so quickly. It literally just happened like that. Hi Tim, I'm looking forward to the live show tomorrow. That's today. While cycling around our lake here at Nikaratani, I also enjoy your daily news roundups. My only gripe is that they're too short. Might I suggest the TNT News Hour? It's not going to happen. It takes me about 3.5 hours to put together the daily news program. I just don't think there would be enough news for an hour. Well, I'm definitely sure there wouldn't be enough news. It seems for me the sweet spot is around 15 minutes, and I can also see how long people are watching the program, how long they stick around, and it looks like 15 minutes is the sweet spot. So after doing, I don't know, 300 or so shows, that seems to be about where people are happy. Oh, it's more, it's about 400 shows. Good heavens! Hi Tim, I spent the last 2 weeks in a medical centre after losing my right ear to skin cancer. This is from Gordon Gorman. I cycle and swim every day here in Nonthaburi and used sunblock on my face, arms, but never on my ears. So perhaps you could warn your subs, don't forget your ears when applying sunblock. Wearing a good hat covering your ears would also help. I prefer not to wear sunblock for short trips. I always wear a hat with a big brim when I'm on the motorbike, and that seems to cover up all the affected areas. I used to do a lot of sailing when I was younger down in Mornington and around the Mornington Peninsula, and I used to wear a lot of sunblock in those days. My father died of complications from skin cancers after having quite a few removed, and I think I'm going to have to face that at some time in the future. I've had a few spots already removed, but yeah, it's something you've got to keep on top of, especially if you are about my age and grew up in Australia at a time when it was cool to have a suntan, and if you were pale, you were, you just weren't one of the crowd. Did you ever cover the raised expressway between Saraburi and Nakhon Ratchasima? No. A bit further down, would it be possible to show the regional forest fire map overlaid with a map of prevailing winds? This would possibly provide some useful information towards understanding where the blame might lie when Bangkok is in a funky cloud. Good question. Let's go to this. Oh dear, what's happened? I had it all set up, ready to show you. Oh my goodness. So there we use... good heavens, a thing called IQ Air, and I am going to try, and it doesn't seem to work very well at the moment. Can I? Oh, jeez. I'll show you the problem I'm having here. If I use my fingers and do the pinch, it doesn't seem to work. So I'm just going to track out here, and can I just move down? Oh, come on, internet. Kick in, come on. Well, we can certainly see a lot of red, and I'm thinking that's north of Thailand, possibly in Laos or even southern China. But as it's slowly refreshing, you can see the wind quite strong right across Thailand, which is sort of in the middle there at the moment. As I said, I've got a problem trying to pinch and do all that stuff at the moment. But, oh, there we go. That's roughly the area. Anyway, that's pretty much Thailand there, Laos, and we've got some bad air and fires north. But, yeah, around Bangkok at the moment, not looking too bad. But those strong northeasterlies are pretty much the prevailing wind any time this year. Now, then you can overlay that or compare it with this particular map, which is from NASA. If you type in the words NASA and fire maps, just one word or make 2 words, you'll find the link, and it shows you in real time where the fires are. So we move into Thailand, and this is the situation today, and we can see there are quite a few fires. There's Bangkok sort of there. So if we go north of Bangkok, we've got quite a few fires. Also heading east into Cambodia, quite a lot of fires there. And then over in Myanmar, their map works a whole lot better than the IQ Air map. And then if we go out a little bit further, we can see up in northern Vietnam and even southern China, there are some fires there. But yeah, most of, at the moment, the fires are locally lit fires, and mostly just to the north and the central part of north of Bangkok and central Thailand. So iqair.com, and the website is quite long here for the fire maps, but if you type in fire maps and NASA, you'll get the satellite live feed of the live fire situation around Thailand. So hopefully that answers that question. And we'll go back to some more of, I haven't got any more news for you. What's here? Oh, this is interesting. So this is reported about in nationthailand.com. Get your act together, Tim. Have a glass of water. So if you want a barometer into the recovery of an economy or economies, maybe this is one of the barometers which bodes well for Asian economies. But the headline says Bangkok soars, Singapore Seoul routes among top 10 busiest flights in 2023. This is the busiest flights around the world. And Bangkok to Singapore and Bangkok to Seoul ranked among the top 10 busiest international flight routes in 2023, according to travel data provider OAG. And the two routes both offered over 3 million seats this year, landing them in 9th and 10th place in the global popularity rankings. Where are the other busiest routes in the world? How many of them are in Asia? Well, ranked number one as the busiest flight route in the world was Kuala Lumpur to Singapore, with a whopping 4.8 million seats available, and the busiest route pre-COVID, Hong Kong to Taipei, fell to third this year. Meanwhile, top domestic route in 2023 was Beijing to Shanghai. So it looks like the Chinese are certainly flying at the moment. All but one of the top 10 busiest international routes this year were in Asia. And here we are, top 10 from 1 to 5, Kuala Lumpur to Singapore, Cairo to Jeddah, Hong Kong to Taipei, Seoul to Osaka, Seoul to Tokyo, and then 6 to 10 is Dubai to Riyadh, Jakarta to Singapore, New York to London, which is the only one outside of Asia, then Bangkok to Singapore and Bangkok to Seoul. So indeed, Bangkok, a very popular destination in Asia. So I found that very surprising. I thought it was just comparing the top flight routes in Asia, but indeed that's the top flight routes in the world. I also sort of remember that Melbourne to Sydney was always in the top 10 or at least the top 20. Those are two largest cities in Australia. And obviously there's a few in America as well, but they haven't figured in the top 10 this year. Okay, back to your comments as I sort of move that to the side, move the microphone a bit and get into your comments. And thank you to all the people that have joined in. We did want to talk about visa agents, and I wanted to get your opinion. Could you believe the most controversial discussion this week was, amongst everything else happening here in Thailand, was the use of visa agents? I couldn't believe that people were so passionate about visa agents. People just seem to be either, yeah, they're a great idea, or you are the worst person in the universe if you even think about using a visa agent. And some people, there was one guy, I've had to ban a couple of people who were just getting ferocious with their condemnation and, just utter rubbish they were saying about visa agents. Look, visa agents, like car salesmen, like real estate agents, like people making bread, like people that own businesses, like bank managers, there's good ones and there's bad ones. When it comes to visa agents, I know a lot of people, some of them rely on them, and some of them, they just don't have any other way of getting to immigration other than via a visa agent using, they might be disabled, for example. Or just old. And who wants to stick around immigration all day with all the other people if you're like in your 80s? So, visa agents do provide a very valuable service. You don't have to use a visa agent. I've recommended them in the past because they are able to make my life, in my case, a lot easier. Now, it's not going to be for everybody, and they do charge money for their service. I think their service fees are, in most cases, very reasonable. But there are some visa agents that are going to operate perhaps outside the letter of the law, and they may be involved in bribes or scams or whatever. That's not unique to visa agents in Thailand, as anybody knows. Not all visa agents are scammers. Not all visa agents are bad people. In fact, most of the ones I've met, and I've had to speak to a number of them quite a few times over the years, are getting advice, getting questions answered, because they are a circuit into the knowledge base of the immigration department. Because some of the laws do change from time to time, and some immigration officers interpret the laws in different ways. That's not a good thing. That shouldn't happen, but it does happen. So I know there was one visa I was applying for where I actually ended up having to fly to Pattaya because that particular visa wasn't available at the time in Phuket because so many people were coming and they just couldn't cope with the paperwork. So to get it done in time, I had to fly to Pattaya. But if I'd gone down to Phuket immigration, I would have been fluffing around there and waiting in queues. I'm sorry, we can't do this. You'll have to come back in 2 weeks. So for some people, visa agents are an indispensable source of information and service here in Thailand. If you don't like visa agents, if you don't want to use one, if you've had bad problems with one or two of them in the past, I get it. But like everywhere else in Thailand, there are going to be good examples and bad examples. Some people are going to have horrifying stories, like at hospitals. I find public hospitals and most private hospitals here in Thailand very, very good and mostly very good value. But other people have been ripped off. Other people have been overcharged. Other people have been scammed. I get it. So, I couldn't believe how passionate people were about visa agents. And I had to block a few people just because they were getting completely nasty about the topic. And throwing me into the mix. You're a bad person because you use a visa agent. I've said enough. I'm calming down now. It's 41 minutes past 9 here in Thailand on Turtle Beach. Let's go through some of the comments that have come in over the past hour or so. Now, look, I won't be able to get to all the comments. It's just impossible. And I know that I've sort of got to the stage, now what have I done, where I'm going to need another person sitting next to me to read the comments out so I can address them a bit more equitably in the future. Greetings from the Philippines, says Jonathan. Alan James, morning Tim, cool weather arrival late this year and very cold and I think I've read that. Did you or Stephen? I've already done that one as well. Sorry, just getting through the comments. I've done those ones as well. Merry Christmas and congratulations. Thanks, Poo Diver. Oh, can I ask you politely? I'm that far away from getting 30,000 subscribers. What a wonderful Christmas gift it would be if I could get to, I think I've got about 300, 250 or 300 to go. That'd be really good if I could get that by the end of 2023. I know life goes on after the 31st of December 2023, but it would really be cool if I could get over the 30,000 subscriber mark. So if you haven't subscribed, I can guarantee you don't get emails, you don't get rude letters, I don't automatically get to see through your camera on your computer or anything. It just means you're showing your support to the channel, and it means that YouTube will send you videos that I do in the future onto your main screen when you log in. So that's all that happens. It doesn't cost you a cent. So if you'd like to subscribe and you haven't already, that would be a really great Christmas present for me. Merry Christmas all from Canada. And okay, we've just got, what else have we got? Oh, sorry, I'm just having to wade through this. We've got so many comments. Great to have you all with us, by the way. Poor Diver, thank you very, very much for your support. Really appreciate your support of the channel. Do you have a question or comment? You're well entitled to ask one, like everybody else. And also to Daryl McGee, bring on another 300 subs. That close, Daryl, and thank you very much for your support all the way there from Australia. Now, going to people who write the word question, because it's easy to find you, or comment. Question from Wilco. Do you get many mosquitoes at Turtle Beach? The answer is no. On the news today, they said dengue fever is one of the fastest growing illnesses in the world, mainly in hotter countries due to global warming. Yeah, I get that, and I've been following that particular news. It's been a very bad year in Thailand for dengue fever. I think they've had 3 times the number of cases and consequently 3 times the number of deaths from dengue fever this year. So there's a lot of articles. I'll put it in the description later so that people can... I forgot to do something. I'll do that later. Anyway, sorry, just remembered something. I didn't prepare all the back end before the program. Anyway, I'll get to that after the program's finished. But yeah, make sure you protect yourself from mosquitoes. I will put a link to an article which has got the top 10 ways to avoid mosquito bites. I have to say here, haven't see the odd mosquito, but not a lot of mosquitoes. So, yeah, we've been pretty lucky so far. Now the wind has swung around to the northeast for the high season weather. I'm not sure if that's going to bring more mosquitoes. We'll certainly be keeping an eye on that. I think you can also plan your gardens in such a way, obviously avoiding any still water. Is a main way of keeping mosquitoes out of your garden, and picking plants that mosquitoes don't like and avoiding any pooling of water. That's the main things that you can do. So good question, Wilco. Thank you very, very much for that. And electric vehicles are a fire hazard due to the lithium batteries, and once they ignite, they're extremely difficult to extinguish. Richard just stuck about 5 or 10 years in the past. The EVs are not a fire hazard. The cars that ignite the most are internal combustion engine cars. They are much more likely to have a spontaneous fire than an EV. And, to be fair, electric vehicles have been addressing this early problem with some of the earlier batteries. The technology in electric vehicles is moving ahead so fast, and there are big leaps and changes every year, such that I'm holding off buying an electric car at the moment, because I know that in the next year or two there's going to be a lot more advances in this nascent automobile industry. But it is the future, and we are just going to see more of them in the future. In fact, I've got one more story about EV sales here in Thailand. So there are some very ill-informed... No, I don't think they're ill-informed. I think they're actually malignant, and they're going to necessarily try and defame the electric vehicle industry. There are some YouTube channels that are just full of a lot of misinformation, including their misuse of statistics, which gives you the impression that all electric cars are sort of bursting into flames. That is not happening. And some of these are actually now being sued by the electric vehicle companies, and people saying, Toyota are pulling out of electric cars completely. No, in fact, they're tripling the number of their electric car productions in the next 12 months, I think 12 months or 5 years. So, yeah, there's plenty of electric car technology being developed, including in the batteries, and we're just going to see more of them in the future. Hi from the UK, says Graham Khan. Watch you 7 days a week. Keep up the good work, Tim. Thank you very much, Graham. Yeah, 7 days a week, doing the 7 programs. I don't know if it's starting to wear on me, or I think it might be starting to wear on you. So I'm trying to come up with ways to sort of mix things up over the next 12 months, still provide some really good information, but maybe try and engineer in there a day off for myself. Okay, looking for more questions, comments. Question, naughty or nice this year, asks Bill Ellis. Oh, I think I've been pretty nice this year, except to some of the commenters over the last couple of days having a go at me about using a visa agent. I was pretty naughty. I just banned them because I can. Greeting from a rainy, drizzly Seattle. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, or whatever floats your boat. Thanks, Ralph. I think this whole happy holidays thing is much more of a a thing in places like the United States, where I sort of get the impression saying Merry Christmas to somebody may cause offence. Really, I'm very happy, and I say even here around... when I go and buy things at the local stores, I say Merry Christmas, and a lot of the young Shop workers are wearing like little Christmas hats at the moment. I'm sure they have no idea what Christmas is actually about, but they get into the spirit of it. And when I say Merry Christmas, they say it back to me. It's sort of nice. Hi, Tim, a helmet would do the same job. Well, Daryl, I actually wear a hat with a helmet on top when I'm doing any more than about a kilometre. Just darting up and down here, just quickly going to a 7-Eleven or popping down to see somebody else about 100 metres down the beach. I'll either walk or I'll take the motorbike. And yeah, sometimes I won't wear my helmet for those short little trips, but I don't get over about 20 kilometres an hour, so I can just sort of step off and walk away if anything happens. Oh, people are going to hate that. Globally, EV insurance is going up as they are a fire risk. Tron Wars, this is another one of these misinformations. Some ferries will no longer allow them on ships because of the fire risk. We're going to keep on seeing this over the next year, I'm sure. Real tree or artificial? Oh, that's really artificial. It's plastic and steel. I've had it for about 8 years and it's still in pretty good condition. And it packs into a single box. Take all the decorations off it, but you'd be going to find a young conifer pine tree like that. You'd really be struggling to find something like that in southern Thailand, I'm pretty sure. Okay, whose will? I have no idea what you're talking about. The Wu-Tang Life. Hi, Tim, says Zorito. The Wu-Tang Life. Question, what is causing Thailand not to reach the 2019 numbers of 40 million tourists pre-COVID with only 24? I think by the end of this year we'll probably reach about, I think it's going to be about 27 million foreign tourists coming through the turnstiles. So, back in 2019, the total number of foreigners arriving in Thailand was 39,600,000. So 40 million. Now, I mean, people can say, well, you know, people, they came twice during the year and they were counted twice, or people were doing a visa run, or it was an expat flying to Singapore and he flew back and he was counted. So yes, okay, the actual number of real tourists coming here to do touristy things is probably less than the published numbers of foreigners arriving through the turnstiles. But the measurements are the same year on year, and you can look back over the past 30 years and see this trajectory of Thai tourism, and it reached its zenith in 2019. Then, of course, it dropped down during COVID-19. So why are we down on numbers? It looks like airfare costs are stopping a lot of people. People just don't seem to have the spending money to visit Thailand as they had before. Noting that the number of people arriving from, say, Europe or Australia or the UK, I know the UK is sort of in Europe, sort of, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, those numbers have dropped, but the numbers of local regional tourists have gone up a lot. Not so much from China. Those numbers are way down compared back to 2019. China's got its own issues, but still, I mean, there's still the highest number of tourists coming to Thailand. I think second to Malaysians. But as far as flights, people flying into Thailand, Chinese are still number one in total, comparing with road. People coming across the border as well. Malaysians are number one. A lot of that's got to do with tourism in southern Thailand. I'm waffling here. But cost of flights, spending power with some of the economies in the world sort of teetering on recession. What are some other reasons? I don't really think Thailand's done much to change. It's didn't really change much over those 3 years, and generally some of the hotspots in certain demographics are very busy. I was in Phuket earlier this week and it was rammed. If you go around that Cheung Talay Bang Tao area, it's just impossible to get around. That area has just been destroyed by developers. I mean destroyed. It's ruined. It's horrible. Just in 3 or 4 years, that's happened. But places like Patong, it's picked up and it's really, really busy again. And the roads are just so crammed with traffic at the moment. So Phuket, I would say, is probably back to quite similar numbers to 2019. But other parts of Thailand, not so much. It is a bit lumpy. And the way that the tourism is starting to pick up in Thailand this year, if you sit back and look at the statistics, and I suppose I might do that in the next couple of programs, we'll try and see, who's doing well, who's not doing well, what are the demographics coming here at the moment, what are the age groups that aren't coming here at the moment. What happened to all the snowbirds from Europe? What happened to them? Why aren't they coming here at the moment? I think a lot of that is to do with both the cost of the airfares and also from that particular part of the world. I think the flights are more expensive because they have to scoot around Ukraine at the moment. So some of these conflicts in the world are also causing problems for others and for some airlines. Just my analysis. Hi Tim, I thought my telly on the wall was crooked, but it's an illusion because of your desk being higher on the left than it is on the right. I could straighten up the desk very easily. How's that? Is that a bit better? But then I'm off centre. There we go. How's that? Don't want to upset you. The market usually get their power from the closest lamppost. Yeah, that's the problem, that they've just been chiming into. I think I've been paying for some of these market stalls over the past couple of weeks. Hit that like button, says Joe Schmo. Sinbad, Merry Christmas from Lampang, but I'm spending Christmas in Chiang Mai. Hope you have a great Christmas up there. Hi from Canada, says Kane. Adding a visa for a rental motorcycle to the proposal for country visa would be a dream. Adding a visa for rental motorcycle to the proposed for country. Oh, I see. There was a story earlier in the week about a proposal from the Prime Minister to have a 4-country visa for Cambodia, I hope I get this right, Laos, Vietnam and Thailand. So with one visa stamp, you'd be able to visit all these countries. People were saying, but you can enter those countries visa-free already. Can you? Not sure about Laos. So I'm not exactly sure what the advantages would be. I think the advantage would be if they made it like a 90-day visa. Then that would be very useful. So a 90-day visa for 4 countries, on arrival in any of those countries, big thumbs up. Tim, I wondered why you put up with all these stupid and silly questions, says Frankie. Well, it sort of goes with the territory. Being a YouTuber, never thought I'd be a YouTuber, but here I am. It comes with a certain amount of responsibility. You have to be careful what you say. You have to make sure you are telling the truth in most cases. And some people are going to disagree with your truth. And some of them can do it in a way where they will present their facts. They'll share their opinion in a sort of civil way, and that is absolutely fine. But other people just get completely nasty. And why I wouldn't allow people come here and scream at me sitting at my dining table, I won't let them scream at me and abuse me online either. It's my channel. I set the rules. I want people to be civil and reasonable with each other. And if you get nasty, you're going to be kicked off the channel. As simple as that. So, I do welcome people, and I do sometimes get things wrong, for sure. So when I am corrected, I'll pass on that information if I find it to be correct. And also people can send in emails with links. Just so you know, if you put a link to any comment, it won't get published because YouTube removes those comments, and I don't want links on my comment section because people could put links to anything and I'd have to go and check them all. So if you put a link on your comment, it won't come up on the comments section. Okay, so let's just scroll down a little bit and see what's happening here, and we'll get to Guzzy Jack for Naughty Tim. Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate your support, Guzzy Jack from the US. And we've got a few comments and questions. QQQ says, Wazza Oz, how do you obtain a Thai bank account on a tourist visa prior to applying for a retirement visa? Well, you can't. So that's, it's a bit of chicken or the egg. If you want to apply for a retirement visa, you're from outside the country. Oh, now, there's a way around this. I can't remember. Can I get back to you? That's a very, very good question. If you apply for it within the country, I think once you've got your certificate of residence, you'll be able to get a bank account. A certificate of residency is basically saying that you've leased a property, and then you go down to immigration saying, look, I'm staying here, I'm applying for a visa, here's my my lease, and they will issue a certificate of residency saying that you are, at that time, living in Thailand. Comment from Richard Townsend. I'll get back to you because he was a Oz. Richard Townsend's comment, my nephew has a MG4, nice little car, using it 4 or 5 times weekly, Chonburi to Bangkok, no issues with the battery. And people saying, oh, the battery's run out of power. Well, if you drive around your petrol car, it'll eventually run out of petrol as well. You just keep an eye on the meter and you plan accordingly. And I can plug it into the power here and charge it overnight. It's not as if it's difficult. You just have to perhaps just rethink the way that you are monitoring and servicing and looking after your car. Yes, you do have to put petrol and diesel into internal combustion engines as well. In the same way, you've got to top up your power in an electric vehicle. Question from David Hodgson. Is selling fruit in a Thai market a protected occupation? Yes. Yes. I would say I've never seen a foreigner selling anything in a Thai market. If your spouse was selling in a Thai market and you were just there putting things in bags, I don't think anybody would particularly bother. There would have to be a Thai person at the stall as well. You wouldn't be able to do it by yourself. I'm very, very sure about that. Comment, my nephew has... I thought we'd done that one. And question from Nat Blah. Merry Christmas, Tim. My girlfriend owns her own coffee importing company, and we would like to send you something for Christmas. Could we send you some coffee pods or coffee beans? That's very kind of you. I don't publish my address, however. If you send me an email, timnewtontoday@gmail.com, I can send you some information, but I'm not going to publish my address because I have had in the past some problems with people arriving, not just knocking on the door and saying, hi, let's have a coffee, but threatening me. And yes, so I don't want that happening in the future. So I know Steve is much happier for people to arrive and drop in unannounced. I am quite busy and just can't afford that same sort of luxury. But if you'd like my address, send me an email, timnewtontoday@gmail.com. We would also like to invite you for a cup of your favourite coffee next time you come to Bangkok. Well, I get to Bangkok every 2 or 3 months, and I would certainly enjoy that. So thank you very much for the invitation. Old ladies and young kids on electric cars all over the village every day. No driving skills or licence. Electric carts. Here in Bangkok with similar chairs, love the comfort, but unfortunate with the dye rubbing off. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. And hands. Yes. Thai what to do. Sell imported fresh balsam from Canada for 7 to 14,000. Again, there is a whole discussion going on in the comment section, which I've sort of lost track of. Hi, Tim, says Matt Nguyen. A big fan. I'm Matt from Canada. How's the Christmas weather? Beautiful. So, just looking at the forecast, we will have no rain for at least the next 4 days. We've had a few quick downpours over the past week, like about 5 minutes late in the afternoon or early evening. But we've got these sort of fresh northeasterly winds, which are very nice because they sort of take some of the heat out of the air. Flat seas generally because it's an offshore wind from where I am onto the Andaman Sea. And just very, very nice weather indeed. So it'll be 32 degrees on Christmas Day, a bit humid, so we'll have the fans going and we'll be sitting outside and eating a hot Christmas dinner. Wall Street Rally has me flush going over to Phuket in March. Arnold, we look forward to your arrival. Obviously, we need Mr. Fusion-powered DeLoreans. Yes, that would be very helpful too. Comment, just noticed your carved door. Very beautiful. When we came here, there's a bit of WD-40 I use. Because we live on the coast, we're always using the WD-40 for the motorbikes and for the locks on the doors and things to stop them from rusting. But yeah, the beach house or the old fisherman's cottage had these two lovely doors. So on one side I've painted them, I can show you. We've painted them, whoa, there's a bit of light. Painted them blue. But on the inside, they're original. Actually, they do need a bit of a varnish. But yes, lovely old doors. We were going to replace them with some new glass doors, but we decided instead to just give them a bit more life and a few more years. So that's what's happened there. Oh, I just lost that comment. Where did it go? Comment, Da Nang has very few tea times available until April, so many are booking tea time in Pattaya. Tea time. Oh, okay, I've missed that one, Mike. Michael Bridge. Tea times in Pattaya. Tea times in Da Nang. Tea times. Is this golf? Mike. Obviously, it's golf. So, okay. Da Nang has very few tea times, so people are booking tea times in Pattaya. Thank you, Mike. I'm sorry about that. I've got no idea what tea time is except what I eat at tea, which is usually dinner in other countries. And we've got a golf course here 500 metres away. Yeah, 500 metres from Turtle Beach. It's called Aquella. I don't think many people go there, but it's a beautiful looking golf course. A lot of it along the coast of Turtle Beach. So, if anybody's looking to play some golf, come to Aquella, Aquella. Yeah, I'm going there on New Year's Day. They're having a New Year's lunch, so I'm going there. First time I've been there, actually, so I haven't been there, but the pictures I've got look very, very nice. So thank you, Mike. It took me a while to figure that out. Tea times. Never heard that before in my life. Question, what are the anti-EVs so scared about? I don't know. It's a good point, Robbie. There are some YouTubers which are going out of their way to disparage the EV industry, and so much disinformation. And it's not as if they exaggerate a little bit. They exaggerate so much as to make you go, that can't be right. So when you go and fact check some of the things they're saying, it's just complete rubbish. Like not just a little bit rubbish, but a lot rubbish. So I would have no problems buying some of the modern EVs and driving them. I wouldn't be thinking, oh, this is going to burst into fire at any second. I wouldn't think that for a moment. Ralph, thank you. Tea time is golf. Tea time. Merry Christmas to you, Tim, says William. A few more and then it'll be time to go. I disagree with Tim. I don't believe it's a prohibited occupation. This is talking about market sellers. In fact, many of the fruit vendors at the market aren't Thai, but migrant workers. This is from Mungo. Yeah, look, I think that they could be migrant workers, but people would assume they're Thai. Migrant workers, particularly from, say, Myanmar and Cambodia, get away with a lot. One, because obviously they look quite similar to Thais, and some of them do have legal work permits. Now, the migrant worker work permit is different from other foreigners. So I think they're allowed to do just about anything in Thailand, as distinct from people who are outside of Myanmar, Cambodia or Laos, who have to get a different type of work permit. So I think you could be right there, Mungo, and thank you for that comment. Rolando, hi Tim, happy holidays to you and Steve. You can write your happy holidays to Steve directly. You don't have to write it here. And Robbie, I just opened a bank account at Bangkok Bank and they required a driver's license from your home country. Seemed like a strange requirement, says Bill G. Again, this is one of those things that how do you get a bank account in Thailand? Now, some people say you have to have a long-term visa, a signed lease, or a blue book or a green book, or a current driving license in Thailand. Other banks have different requirements. There's no black and white answer to this question. Again, if you have a visa agent, they'll be able to sort this out for you because they'll know which banks they can go to get things sorted out for you. So there's no black and white answer for that. Wanting an overseas driver's license is very odd. I don't have an overseas driver's license anymore. My Australian license expired many, many years ago, but I have a current Thai driver's license, so I can, at least legally drive in Thailand. Okay, what else have we got? Another one. Just subscribed. Do you have statistics about how many people from each country visit Thailand? Yes. In fact, you can go to Wikipedia and type in Thailand tourism, and it's got figures going back, I don't know, about 20 years, and you can see how many people are arriving from each country, and very specific statistics are kept on immigration of people arriving into and then leaving Thailand. So they do have a lot of information, and that's easily available. Wikipedia will give you information up to about 2 years ago, and I suppose it'll get updated when those figures from the last couple of years, somebody adds it into the Wikipedia page. Type in Thailand tourism or Thailand tourism statistics, and you'll be able to see the demographics. And what else we got here? Obviously, we need... I think we've just about got to the end. Tim, why are retirees in the same tier as tourists? Hospital prices. Lucas Bianchi. If you're a foreigner, you are going to be charged more at a Thai hospital. Unless you have a current work permit where you get treated under the universal healthcare system, and that will cost you, it's basically free. It comes, I suppose, partly out of your taxes. You'll have to pay with your own pocket and then reclaim on insurance. And that refers to foreign tourists or foreign retirees. Why do retirees pay the same as tourists? I don't know. It's just the law. Question from Dave Red. Do you do your own renovations or use local contractors? Do you find it easy getting Airbnbs ready for rent? Well, it's not particularly easy. I have got, I'm so grateful, touch wood, he's been an excellent contractor, and I've using him for the 3 renovations I've done. I do quite a lot of the work myself, like the painting, obviously buying the furniture, moving things around, just a lot of organisation, buying things like we have to get all the IKEA kitchens. I go to IKEA and I drag them back in the back of my car. So I suppose I'm very involved, and we have many chats every day. On Google Translate, he doesn't speak a word of English. My Thai is extremely poor. So we have these long, tortured conversations, whether something should be 1.7 metres or 1.8 metres. That takes about 5 minutes to get that done. But, I organise, I suppose, oversee the general work. But basically, the contractors do the actual hard work themselves. I do a bit of painting. That's about it. It's about all I'm talented for. But painting these has been a big job because none of them have been painted in the last, 30 years. And they were bright pink and bright blue. And so I've had to, really do a lot of preparation and then full undercoating and a full top coat. Basically sticking with gallery white everywhere because I do have a feature wall down there. But mostly it's just very easy to look after. And these are not enormous, modern, well-designed beach houses. These are old fishermen's cottages, so trying to make them look a bit more open and airy, so nothing better than a coat of white paint for that. On our off-grid resort, says John, we install maintainable free lead acid. This is batteries, I suppose. Half the price, half the time, but proven. Lithium hasn't really proved itself yet enough for me. So that's from John Swift, an off-the-grid resort. Well done. We're just running off the mains here. I don't have any solar power. I've done a bit of a cost analysis, and it would take me quite a few years to pay back the money for solar power here. The electricity is generally cheap. The air conditioners by far chew up most of the electricity, but at the same time, again, these cottages weren't built to keep cool, so the guests here do, and they're well entitled to, use the air conditioning, but it really does chew through the power. And EV performance is reduced in cold climates. Poor countries can't afford or have the infrastructure to charge. Sure, it's going to be on a country-by-country basis, but here in Thailand, the infrastructure for EVs is already quite well developed and catching up very, very quickly. So much so that if you're in any of the main population centres, no problems at all recharging EVs. And of course, they all come these days with kits so that you can charge at your own house off the mains power. So with that, I'd like to say thank you, everybody. And Scott D said something like, great live stream. I was sure to hit the like button. Thank you, Scott. Good evening from, I'd imagine, a very cool Chicago. So I'm starting to lose my voice. I've got to keep my voice ready for recording Grumpy Old Men today with Steve. I'll have to toddle on down and see if he's available. And then I've got to keep my voice, of course, for Christmas Day, so I can tell all my stories of Christmas days of yore. But then again, Steve's coming to Christmas dinner, so I probably won't have to do any talking at all. But thank you all for joining in. I wish you and yours a very, very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we look forward to seeing you beyond. We will be back tomorrow with Grumpy Old Men. We will be doing a Christmas Day program for the news on Monday morning. So yeah, things won't change. All the news programs will continue right throughout Christmas and New Year. So keep tuning in as we try and bring you all the latest information from around Thailand. Been great to have you with us. I really appreciate all those people who have supported the channel, not just today, but throughout the year. I suppose I can speak more about the entire year and do a best of the biggest stories for 2023 next week. And I do look forward to hearing from you, David Clark. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.